Hey guys, I'm gonna take you outside right now. Why isn't this following me? You're supposed to follow me. What's up guys? Let's see how this works. This is the first time trying this gimbal. We're gonna go outside. I'm gonna take the dog for a walk. Hey, working this time. All right, we're gonna go for a walk outside my apartment here in Boston, so you guys can see what we've been dealing with this Boston Marathon training lately, because the weather's been brutal and we got all this ice and snow outside, and I'm being forced to go into the gym and run on the treadmill, which is something I really don't want to do because treadmill's really boring and really demotivating. And it's also weird to go into like a summery environment where it's really humid when you've been running outside where it's cold and dry all the time. And so I pulled my calf muscle the other day trying to do 20 miles on the treadmill, and that's a bummer. So I don't want that to happen again. But in any event, I just want to show you guys outside so you can see what it is that I'm complaining about. And I'm trying this gimbal for the first time, and I was trying this lapel mic at the same time for the first time. So we're just gonna go see how this goes. Still following me? Nope, not following me. Why did it stop? Yep, we're back in. All right, let's do this. Closed. You can see the ice. Stop here and wait for this shit. See where we are? Lower Mills, Dorchester, Boston. Friggin' Boston. Oh, it's lost me again. All right, here we go. Oh, a lot of this is melted. A lot of this is melted. They've thrown some salt down. This is now functional. So I was whining before I left the house, but it seems like there's not so much to whine about right now. Hi. All right. We are just doing the normal dog walk. A long one because for a few days, because it's been all icy and brutal down here. You can see the part that we just went through down there, it had a big puddle, and that big puddle was black ice, like glassy black ice, several inches thick. And what happens here like that is that right, some of it melts and then it runs over the path. Man, this thing is tricky to use, huh? It runs in water form over the path, and then it flash freezes when we have one of these deep freezes like we have had a bunch of lately. You can hear me crunching over this. But look at this. Check this bridge out. It's all covered, super covered in ice. All right. What do I walk backwards? Right? Like this? If I don't die? Anyway, you get the idea. Whoa. So I don't crash and burn. So what's going on in my life right now, guys, is that I'm trying to run the Boston Marathon as fast as I possibly can. It'll be my sixth time running it. First time is a legitimately qualified individual. Each of the other times I've done it, I've run it as a bandit, which I'm not proud of in retrospect, but in my defense, I did do it every time before the bombing. I've not done it since the bombing. My first time was when I was 15 years old, just a few months after being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And, right now, my life's gone through a bit of a revolutionary time here, and a lot of stuff's happening, and one of the big things that's leading me down a path that is a much more positive one for me is that I have latched back on to running as a, something I really want to do with my life. And a bucket list item, of course, for me has always been to run a sub 3-hour marathon. And, I ran a 3:06 last year. And I know I got way more in me than that because I know that I didn't actually do like that most amazing job of training for that. And so this time I'm taking the training part of it really, really seriously and am, gonna see what I can do. I think I can probably bring it down into some pretty amazing range. Really secretly, openly now, I want to go down below 240, which I think is totally reasonable even at 45 years old. And it just takes work, The greats, Frank Shorter and Bill Rogers both did their amazing feats by running millions of miles a week. And, I'm trying to run 100 miles a week for at least 4 weeks in a row in the lead up to this Boston try. And I think that should be good. That's like a professional level effort. And I think what I've learned is that by running just many miles is sort of the key, more so than all the speed work. And so I'm trying to just do miles, focus on getting in the miles. And so, 100 miles a week is like 15 hours a week. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to squeeze it into 4 or 5 sessions max per week to give me some time off. Annie, come here. Annie, which gives me time off each week. That means that I have recovery, and also I'm just maxing out these miles so that the 20-mile moment in the marathon isn't a thing, So last week I did 30 miles on Monday, which was my 45th birthday. And then I did 20 miles on Wednesday. And then I did another 20 on Friday. And so that made for 70 miles. And then I was going to go out and do another 20 the next day on Saturday. And I was in the middle of that when I felt my IT band start tightening up on my left leg down near the knee. And that is typically what happens with me, I know, from all of these years when I have pushed it a little too far mileage-wise. So I felt that and I said, whoa, and I stopped and I went home. And then I took 3 days off, aided by the fact that this weather was here, made me feel like I was missing out by not going. So now I went back out on the treadmill. Yesterday I did 15 miles on the treadmill, boring 15 miles. And then I'm gonna do 20 more at some point today, this evening, on the bloody treadmill. But maybe, seeing as that those conditions out there were actually way better than I expected them to be, maybe I will go outside and do some of the miles outside. If I'm gonna do that, I guess I need to do it in the daylight because it's easier to see the ice, poor footing, that stuff in the dark. Just running along and stepping on some ice. I haven't hurt myself yet, so I'd like to avoid doing that with all of these zillions of miles. I don't know if you guys can understand me. I don't know if this microphone's working. This gimbal is frustrating and confusing me. All right, Annie, let's go. Back inside and we'll walk upstairs. So, this is a one big experiment. Trying to live my best life. Trying to survive long enough that I get to be around for my children and doing my best to make up for lost time and, make sure that I am around, So I'm going to go hang this up. We've been on this health kick, trying to do right by my health, do right by my psychology, my mentality, my outlook, also trying to be good to other people, trying to do something with a career that is in line with all those things. And, you know, that doesn't mean just doing what you love. I have been doing what I love for the last like 8 years. So, I don't know, man. This is my house. It's my apartment. You can see this guy next door. I don't know if you can see through the window back there, but he's got a hole in his roof, real big hole in his roof, just right there. And when it snows real bad, you can see it still because it's a hole in the roof. And I decided that I would just go for it. So that's why, long story short, this rambling scene here is so rambling because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna get started. Ali Abdel says, go, just do it. Make 7 videos, nobody cares what they are, just do it. You don't care, you just gotta know how to do it. You gotta start somewhere, you gotta actually get the muscle flexed. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm flipping muscle here, right? I don't even know if this mic, I don't know if you're gonna hear any of this, and I'm gonna have to do this over again because I don't know if this lapel mic is actually doing anything. It's plugged in here. It didn't really work for the first time I tried it, and then I tried it once and it worked. And then I decided I wasn't gonna wait around any longer and that I was gonna put it on, I was gonna start it, and I was gonna walk out the door, and I was gonna go take the dog for a walk, and I'll show you my stupid bike path out there so that you can see that it's hard to run right now. And that's why I'm gonna go to the gym and run on the treadmill and not show you any of that because I'm too chicken shit to bring my camera to the Planet Fitness down the street yet and show you any of that stuff. So I wasn't gonna do that, but whatever. Here we are. We're doing this. We got this, right? We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be great.